Hello there, Sam from the VXR Collection. Today we've got a guest on the drive. It's Dad's Black Vectra VXR Auto Estate, one of one. So a bit of a unicorn when it comes to the VXR crowd, only one ever made. It's got a few little bits and bobs to do to it. Headlight keeps steaming up, the boot lock seems to have it's got a mind of its own. It's still got some long-standing jobs outstanding. The roof loom needs replacing after we had an issue with the aerial base seal let go, and then it basically leaked inside, sat on top of the roof loom and then ate through it and shorted all the electrics out in the back. So checked everything out. BCM's fine, but the roof ribbon is absolutely knackered. So we've tried installing another one from an SRI, which didn't go particularly well. So we're on the hunt for another one. We have got wind of another one, but just waiting now. But we've got a few things to do whilst it's here. That's why it is over this way. But whilst it's with us, it's a bit of a rare opportunity to have a look at it. So here it is. So yeah, so standard AFLs. Could do with another polish scenery though, to be fair. Starting to go a bit yellow on the outside. It's usually a first sign that they're starting to go. The 19-inch diamond cut Ronalds we managed to source locally. We did look into having a set done. I argued the toss with Dad that it should be anthracite grey in between the spokes, but he was adamant that he wanted black to go with the black paintwork. And to be fair, it does look okay. It's once clean it does, but it's very difficult to keep clean being black, but yeah, it does look good. The roof bars we retrofitted ourselves. Didn't have them originally, however I think it just helps break up the colour slightly. And the chrome door handles are also something that we've done. I just think the contrast of chrome against the black it's just a nice match. So like I said, we've got a few things to do. This headlight keeps steaming up. I think I have worked on the cap seal before, but I'm going to pull the headlight out, dry it out. I'm probably going to reseal it around the lens, and then see what the crack is there, because it might be something else going on, but we'll come back to that. Boot lock seems to have a mind of its own, so I'm pretty confident it's the squidgy pad underneath the Vauxhall badge under here, because the lock moves left and right. It doesn't sound bad, so what I'm going to do is pull it out, see if there's any way of cleaning it up and see how we get on, and then try it over a matter of days. But yeah, overall, say it's a nice car. This it was. We managed to save it from being pulled apart, which is always a bit of a win. The previous owner had a bit of a mishap with the well, basically went out for a drive on a Sunday. I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday. It conked out. Had it recovered to a local Bosch garage, and they diagnosed it as ECU failure. So it was a bit of a gamble, to which the car was originally offered to a well-known breaker within the Vectra VXR owners group, but we sort of beat him to it. Apologies, Michael, without naming names. But yeah, Dad's decided to take a punt on it because he wanted an auto estate, with him having dogs, and also him wanting to do some shows with us as well. So once we found out that it was the one of one auto, he was very interested. So we made an offer. The owner accepted. Dad went up and we arranged to have it recovered back to Dunton, where this one lives. And then I went over with Opcom and just to see what the crack was. Plugged it in, and sure enough, no communication whatsoever. So it led me to believe that it was dead. However, it wasn't. So we were quite fortunate that the wiring to the ECU under the bonnet at the back of the engine cover, which no doubt you remember from the planning how-to video that I've done previously. So the ECU behind here a couple of, I think it was about 3 or 4 of the pins had actually come loose from one of the harnesses, and the earth strap was also not making good continuity. So basically stripped the plug apart, rebuilt all the pins and made sure they seated home all correctly, cleaned up the earthing point, put it all back together, and sure enough then Opcom could communicate with it. Luckily no long-term damage had been done to it. So after I managed to clear all the fault codes from where it had poor communication, it fired into life. So I'm very much, very happy with the outcome of that, and Dad has been basically investing some money and time into it ever since. So very low mileage. This one is now, where are we at? 54,500. So full levers as well, full heated levers. We had the windows tinted because when it turned up it did look like a bit of a hearse when it, because they do, to be fair, darker colour ones. So yeah, we're going to get into the boot lock issue. That's going to be our first challenge, and see where we go from there. Right, for those of you who have got the Estate, not even the VXR but an Estate Vectra, you'll know how fragile these clips are to get the boot liner off now. As long as you're careful and you take the time, you do tend to be able to save most of them. However, they are a bit unpredictable because all they are is glued onto a bit of fabricy cardboard, I suppose is the best way of putting it. So we'll do our best. So, lost one. I'll try glue it back on, but okay, so I have the lock assembly in my hand. This usually is mounted which way, like that, to the boot latch assembly, so on the bracket, and there's 2 Torx bolts that hold it on. If you wiggle it, it does come away. Now in here itself, this is the spring-loaded mechanism that releases and engages the striker, I don't know what you'd call it, claw. So every time that you shut the boot, the claw then moves around and locks against the pin on the striker plate, and then once you release the button from the pad on the number plate, or just above the number plate, the spring fired mechanism pulls it back, pulls the claw back, and then the boot opens. So whilst I've got the boot card apart. I'm just going to lubricate in here and then fire it a few times just to make sure that the lubricant is all in the mechanism as it should. As you can see, the white bit at this end, it does have some lubricant there from the factory, but I appreciate that it's now what old is it now? So like 14, 15 years old, that the it's going to dry out eventually, so anything additional to it will always help. And then we'll get a pad on order, and that should hopefully cure his boot issue. Okay, so after a bit of playing around, it looks as if the actual boot latch is defective on Dad's one. I've tried lubricating it and it works 1 minute and then it doesn't, but I've just plugged in the one from the Blue Estate from when I did the auto opening boot retrofit. And it works every time. So I can only assume that there is something wrong with that latch. So not the end of the world. I'll just get one off, one that will no doubt be breaking at some point in the future. But I will strip it down just out of curiosity and have a look. But yeah, so quick win. I've basically put the seal back together because it looks like someone's tried to have a go at this in the past and didn't fit the seal correctly. But luckily the micro switch has not got wet, so I can basically reinstall everything and it should work. So quick win, right result. Okay, so that's the replacement boot latch on. Seems to be happy. Result. Quick win. What result? Okay, so we're just going to take off the front near side the near side sections of the bumper and the screws across the top, because I want to pull this near side headlight out to dry it out. So that's our next job. Headlight. Right, so that's the headlight refitted. As you can see, it's all dried out. I've run a bead of silicone or Tiger Seal all the way around the outer lens, so where the lens meets the plastic housing part at the back. I also managed to find a crack in the back of the cap that runs on the back of the dip beam, so I've run a seam across that inside and out, so that's now dry. I've driven it around today and it's been damp this morning and it's not stinged up at all, so I'm happy that this is now sealed. Hoping to get the guy from CN Detailing back out this week, who's going to come out and repolish them. You can see slight haziness at the top of the headlight and the yellowing right across the seam. I mean, it's just me being a bit anal about it, but once it's done, I know they will look the part. So that's all done. So I've got a few bits to do during the week, to disc and pads all round, so I'll be doing that. but then it's ready to go back to Dad. So yeah, overall pleased with the result. So the boot issue has sorted itself out as well. So yep, no doubt you'll be seeing this one's at shows soon enough. So for now, stay safe and catch you soon. Thanks for watching.